No, you're not wrong. I do have the memory of a
not
goldfish.
even wrong.
Or a squirrel. I feel like the squirrel is more fitting.
Well, yeah, you can get kind of squirrely.
Well, I mean, like, the goldfish is just kind of like, and like you said, wall bunk. The squirrel's like, da-da-da-da-da, where'd I leave my nuts? I'll find new nuts.
Oh, look, there's more nuts. Nope, that's where we left them last time. Then there's more nuts. Yeah. Yeah, the squirrels around there are kind of entertaining to watch, so as soon as Salem gets a hold of one of those, she's going to have a good time.
I mean, I watched one go hopping from tree to tree, and I'm like, that squirrel has balls of fucking steel. Holy shit.
I watched one miss. I was sitting there sipping my coffee one morning. Oh, I feel better.
I almost peed. Oh,
I was thinking I too.
Did you hear Salem? Mom!
Mom, you're talking my language.
Sweetheart.
I was sitting there one morning drinking my coffee. I think Dad was out farting around or something, and I'm watching this squirrel playing over in the friggin' there's a persimmon tree over there. Mm-hmm. It was like literally going out, and because the persimmon tree is like this fucking wide, and needlessly starts doing this as the little squirrel hangs out on a limb. And I watched him do it. He's hanging there and he's getting up. I'm going, oh, this is going to be epic. He's going to swing and do a Tarzan shit to another tree. Yeah, that didn't work out in his favor. He ended up in the middle of the pond.
Oh, Jesus. Oh.
Yeah, he's just lucky it didn't have water in it. But I was just like, and he kind of looked around like, did anybody see that shit? I'm like, hey, Dad.
I did.
Oh,
Anyways, okay. If you guys don't know, I am currently in Arkansas, and this is our second time trying to record this episode.
Okay, it's the wrong barky. Uno momento. Barking at your poor brother. He didn't do anything. You just stand there mouthing off at him. Now lay down. Okay, I got 2 down. Now I'm missing the damn cat to come put his arm underneath and go, oh, Mom. Yeah. Hopefully he's asleep,
Mother.
though. Yeah, that's what I'm like, I watched because, last night at midway through, I saw the little paw come and do this, and then it was, then he got sidetracked and went and pooped, and, then I had to take that out because it was gross.
Yeah, Salem has discovered, within, the first day of being here, how to open the bathroom door.
I knew that was coming. That's why I told you to get some Velcro.
It literally happened, moments after you said, oh, she's going to figure that out. She literally, she puts her paw underneath it, because I've watched her do it now. She puts her paw underneath it, and she does this little, slide thing with her paw. And as soon as she's got it wide enough, she fucking slams that shit open, here I am, motherfucker.
Ta-da! Yeah, I kind of figured she would have that. She would be, I'm just waiting for the day you say she can't get up there, but I think she will be able to get into those slides, the overhead of the slide, and attempt to try that.
I don't think she can get into it readily. I know that Dad locked her behind the secret time door. To which I was walking around looking for her for a little while. I'm like, what the fuck happened to my cat? And I went walking past the TV, which is the secret time door. Back behind it was the hookups for a washer and dryer if you choose to put them in the RV. And she's back there. I don't know that. I come walking past. I'm like, Salem, where are you? And I hear, Ma'am. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, Salem, Ma'am.
In our defense, this is not the first time that she's gotten trapped between a door.
No, it's actually the third or the fourth. Considering
behind a refrigerator.
Oh my God, the fucking refrigerator.
We gotta call it 2 o'clock in the morning. I need Dad's help. Salem fell behind the refrigerator and I can't move it to get it out. I'm like, oh, you've got to be shitting me. You can pull that refrigerator out. It's on casters. It'll pull right out. I can't do it. It's gonna squish her. Yeah. Or the best one, in my opinion, on Katie's graduation day from college. somehow the cat got between our front door and our security door, which is, God, I think there's only, what is it, maybe 3 to 4 inches between the two doors.
It's not wide.
It isn't, but we didn't know this. We could hear her meowing, and Katie and I are losing our minds trying to find this stupid cat. And honestly, we thought she crawled up into the fireplace, and I'm like, what the fuck did she hold on to get up there? Everywhere, looking for this damn cat. And finally, it was like, Salem, meow, Salem, meow, Salem, meow. She was stuck between the front door and the security door, and was not happy once we opened the door. Well, I was like, dumbass, you shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Yeah. On a bonus, I just got my throat cleared out because I had to yell at her to stop eating the plastic.
Unlike the yell that you did earlier that about knocked me out of my seat.
No, it's that same yell.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't prepared. Never.
Salem, get off the couch!
Yeah, but amplify that. Plus have headphones on, too. So, yeah, it was really freaking loud. Yeah.
I think I might leave that in. The note said, Salem!
God almighty. Oh, my poor heart, man. I'm like, come on. 50-some years old here, kid. Don't be yelling like that. Just scare me. My heart's not good to start with. Don't add it. Oh, anyway. So, yes, Katie is down in the cold Ozarks, enjoying her seasons, while I'm in cold Arizona, enjoying no season. But, hey.
I'm praying that I get electricity this week. By the time that you're hearing this, I will probably have electricity. And hopefully some insulation in a building that I can actually go and detach from my minion, my goblin, for a little bit to play video games. Don't do it. Is she on the kitchen counter looking, eyeballing like she's going to come over? I will send you a picture of it right now.
Because I swear to God, that's where she's going to launch herself at for the assault on the slide out. She's going to be on the kitchen counter. Our travel trailer has a huge front kitchen because I like a lot of counters to mess up. And I just expect Salem to be there one day and suddenly decide, hey, there's a hidey hole up there I can fit into, which she can't, but she'll try.
No, I mean, when she tried to jump over the one that's above the television, and this is what makes me believe, I'm like, she couldn't have gotten up that way because she nearly fucking hung herself the first time. She's
I love
lucky we were
facial
here.
expression. Look at you in the camera like, what? I'm an angel. I am. No,
devil.
you're a wee demon. You're a wee demon.
She's just
The angel
inching
is over
closer
in the
to
other
it,
bedroom.
too. Because now she's, like, laying down. She's like, I'm not near it. I'm not thinking about it.
What is she trying to get?
The plastic covering that's on the window, the sides, they're not trimmed off. She's eating them.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus, your cat is mental. She is just, wow.
She's got the twitches going. She's like,
I want to do it. I want to do it. Oh,
Salem.
Okay, now I see it. Oh, the insulation plastic. I thought she was going after my roll-up curtains, and I'm like, I'm going to have to kill her. Now I see. Well, yeah, I suggested to put the heat shrink stuff over top of the windows to kind of take a little bit of the out of Arkansas. And, yeah, they did that. But, yeah, there's a piece of tape. We should put this out there so that people know what we're talking about and they can look at it. The innocent that is not Salem. I'll put it on the spatter page later.
okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Anyway, so I have a case for you today that actually hits back home. It is a hometown for us. So, before we get started, though, while we understand that some individuals listen for the entertainment aspect of true crime, it's important to remember that these are real people with families and friends who may still be suffering from their loss. These stories are not meant to open old wounds, cause further emotional damage to those involved, and we remind you to please be respectful and do not dox or contact those involved with cases. The case discussed on this podcast today may be disturbing to some listeners, and listener discretion is advised. There are no trigger warnings other than the cat may jump out and scare the piss out of me here in a second because she's right there.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway, because I asked this the first time that I recorded this one. Mom, what do you think when you hear the name Coors?
I think of banquet beer. The Rocky Mountains. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Is it?
Literally. Yeah, some people call it Yellow Jackets. I had just heard that term recently. Had no fucking clue what they were talking about. It was always called banquet beer. And, here's a story. I had a horse that I used to exercise for a neighbor. His name was Bandit. And he loved Coors beer. And the owner, honest to God, would grab a beer out of the beer fridge while I was grooming him in the garage, sit it down, and Bandit, because we wouldn't tighten his halter lead up real tight. Mm-hmm. We just put it in a vise and give it a little crank just to kind of hold it there a little bit. But he was able to get out of it. Would reach over there real easy, start putting some pressure against the rope and pull it out of the vise without me knowing, because I'm busy grooming him and doing shit. And next thing I know, this vigorous shaking was going on. I'm like, what the hell? And I look over, the horse has got the can of Coors in his mouth, has got it tipped up in the air, and he's chugging it as fast as he can. Roger walks over, grabs the beer can out of the horse's mouth. He's like, damn it, you drank all my beer. Well, there's still some in it, and pours the rest down his throat. And I'm like, oh, damn. I love animals, but I don't think so. God. But yes,
that's beer now.
It was. That's why I'm like, why didn't you just give it to him? It was almost gone. Well, good, we'll waste my beer on a horse. I'm like, oh my God. And the horse was just sitting there going, good stuff. Anyways.
Can never was a even have drinker. Beer? I feel like they can't.
They can. It's oats. It's barley. It's good.
It's barley. It's good. It's fermented as all hell, but it's good.
Oh, yeah. That's what they like about it, too. I actually know a couple that have to use it due to doctor's orders. I can't remember what the reasoning is, but yeah.
Well, I know that beer works great with bladder infection stuff. It clears you out right away.
I don't think I've ever heard of an alcoholic say they have a bladder infection, so there you go. Yeah. But nope, that's Coors.
That's Coors. For me, I go back to the old football commercials and seeing tailgate parties and like the coolers full of Coors beer. When I was writing the notes for this, though, we had just recently watched Smokey and the Bandit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which has to do with the bootlegging of Coors beer to the East Coast.
Over the Mississippi, man. They rode it from Texarkana to, I want to say it was Florida, but don't quote me. It had to be in Georgia or someplace. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they were trying to get it across the state line, and it was highly illegal because I think it had something to do with the fermentation. I'd have to really look it up, or make your dad look it up while he's sitting there doing nothing. But yeah, I can't remember what the exact deal why Coors couldn't come that far east. Mm-hmm. So, but yes, you're right. Smokey and the Bandit.
Smokey and the Bandit. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Coors beer, here's some history about the company. In the year of 1873, a pair of German immigrants by the name of Adolph Coors and Jacob Schuler established the Coors Brewing Company in Golden, Colorado. Coors invested $2,000 into the operation, while Schuler invested $18,000 into the operation. However, by the year of 1880, Coors would buy out his partner, Schuler, making him the sole owner of the brewery. During Prohibition, which took place in 1920 to 1933, many breweries closed due to the constitutional ban on the production, importation, transportation, and sale of alcoholic beverages. Coors at the time converted to a malted milk and near beer production facility, to which, if you're wondering what near beer is, it's exactly as it sounds. It's a beer substitute with little to no alcohol in it, which allows it to be legal for sale during the Prohibition. Coors would sell the malted milk to the Mars Candy Company, to make sweets. However, what really kept the business and the Coors Brewery alive was the role that the Coors and his son played in the porcelain and cement trades with local real estate companies. By the time Prohibition ended in 1933, only a handful of breweries had survived, and Coors was considered to be one of the lucky ones. Starting as a local beer, Coors would eventually branch to nearby states and marketing mainly to the American West. This would give a certain mystique to those living on the East Coast who had heard about the beverage, and those who had actually traveled west would typically try to bootleg a box or two of Coors back to the East Coast. This status is well referenced in the movie Smokey and the Bandit. By 1980, though most of the alcohol restraints had been lifted in the United States at this time, it allowed Coors to become nationally distributed. And you said that you had some stuff on the Prohibition?
Yeah, it says that the reason Coors beer was illegal east of Texas, I thought it was the Mississippi, but it was Texas, for decades was because of the Prohibition-era ban. The post-Prohibition era saw major restrictions and limitations placed on the brewing of beer, including a ban on Coors beer. This was a big blow for the Coors Brewing Company, as it meant they were restricted from selling their beer outside of Texas. In order to survive, the company had to innovate and create new products and strategies. It was not until late 70s that the ban was lifted. The repeal of ban on Coors was a major victory for the Coors Brewing Company. They also went ahead and opened up subsidiaries that would allow them to ship some in a very limited amount out to those subsidiaries, and then those subsidiaries could sell them east of the Mississippi or east of Texas. But even then, it was like they had to be very mysterious on what was being shipped to it. But yeah.
The wink, wink, hint, hint, we're shipping this, but we're not actually shipping this.
It's not Coors, it's something else, but yeah. Yeah, so.
Now, you might be going, what does beer have to do with true crime? But did you know that the name Coors became a national-wide manhunt comparable to that of the Lindbergh Baby Kidnapping? Adolph Coors III was born on January 12th of 1915, and like his father and youngest brother, he went to and graduated from Cornell University before eventually taking on the mantle of being the CEO and chairman of the board of Coors Brewing Company. He was married to Mary Urquhart Grant in November of 1940 and had 4 children together. To most individuals who knew Adolph, they simply knew him as Ade. He was a well-liked individual, according to associates and employees. He was very friendly and had a reserved nature. Despite being the eldest successor of the Colorado beer empire and a very accomplished young man for his age, Ade preferred the simpler lifestyle and loved to be on his horse ranch just southwest of Denver, where he and his family resided. Now, our story today begins on a crisp and windy morning of Tuesday, February 6th, 1960. Ade had rose before the sunrise that morning, doing his daily exercise regimen and taking care of his horses by pitching some hay and breaking the ice in their troughs. He then returned to the house, showered, and got dressed for work before joining his wife, Mary, at the kitchen table for coffee. Before leaving for the brewery that morning, he kissed Mary goodbye, having already given his send-off to his children who had boarded the school bus minutes earlier that morning. Grabbing a tan baseball cap and slipping on his favorite navy blue nylon jacket, he went to his vehicle and began to head down the driveway, waving to his ranch's manager as he passed around 7:55 a.m. Ade's normal route to work, which was 12 miles away, would have had him traveling less than a mile to the paved road of U.S. Highway 285, which would allow for a quick transport to the brewery. However, the road was closed that day, forcing him to detour along a winding and gravel road for 4 miles into Turkey Creek Canyon, where it would reconnect back to an open section of Highway 285. Around 10:30 to 11 a.m. that morning, a milk delivery driver on his morning route pulled up to a narrow timber bridge over Turkey Creek near Morrison, Colorado. On this bridge was a international travel-all station wagon blocking the path. The driver honked his horn several times in an attempt to get the attention of the driver of the station wagon blocking the bridge, however received no response. The individual got out of his truck and walked to the vehicle to find it's empty and the engine is idling with the radio still playing before deciding to return back to his own truck and honk the horn a few more times in an attempt to bring the driver back to the vehicle. When this failed, the milkman moved the car himself to the side of the road. While doing so, he noticed a red-brown stain on the bridge and a hat on the edge of the riverbank below. Now, the milkman, obviously kind of like put off by this, decides that he's going to travel to a secondary location and report the matter to local authorities. Upon arriving at the scene, police quickly were able to determine that the car belonged to that of 45-year-old Adolph Coors III. Searchers were soon spread out over the area looking for the father of four. In addition to the tan baseball cap, a pair of eyeglasses was found with the left lens cracked from its impact upon the ground. Only a few other items were found in relation to Coors in the small area around the bridge. Searchers did extend the perimeter of the search, however, nothing else was found, and Ade was now determined to be missing at this point. With the passage of 24 hours nearing, the FBI Denver Division became involved with the high-profile case to aid Colorado authorities. With the passage of a day since Ade's disappearance, the case fell under the federal kidnapping statute, which allowed the full investigation and resources of the Bureau to be called upon. On the morning of Wednesday, February 10th, headlines of the Rocky Mountain News read, Adolph Coors III disappears. FBI enters search. Now, people describe the FBI agents as being unmarked in their cars, wearing dark suits, ties, starch white shirts, fedoras, trench coats with trimmed hair, shaved faces, and some of them would either wear sunglasses or eyeglasses.
G-men.
Yep.
Government men, but G-men. That's what they reported. And they all looked alike, man. They all looked alike.
It was like something out of a movie. And even there was directive from J. Edgar Hoover himself in Washington that there was to be a 30-mile radius of 50 officers set up to kind of like intervene the kidnapping of Adolph Coors. So the FBI Western Kidnapping Squad was stationed. Hoover even marked this case as top priority. This made the hunt for Coors and his assailant the largest FBI effort since the Lindbergh Baby Kidnapping in 1932. Now, try to stick with me here because there's several different things happening, presumably all at once or at overlapping times.
I'm making notes, so we should be good.
Good. Get your notepads out. Here we go.
I do. I've got my note.
The FBI took up questioning people around the town and establishments that day. Most people were asked about Ade's character, and some spoke on how he was a well-to-do man known throughout the areas of Colorado, especially Golden. He had been raised there and participated in local baseball teams as a first baser. People were in absolute disbelief that something could have happened to Ade, and many residents of Golden believed that the attack on the Coors family was an attack on Golden itself, stating Coors was Golden and Golden was Coors. Anyone who dared to denounce the name of Coors or even claimed to have beef with the family became suspect, as it was very peculiar.
That says something about that, because, upstanding person.
During and after questioning the locals, one of the Bureau-issued sedans dropped off agents at Mr. Coors' residence, Joe Coors' residence, and Bill Coors' residence. They were in charge of manning the telephones for surveillance, and recording devices were set up in case of contact with the assailant. So they're basically sitting there waiting for the kidnapper to make a ransom demand.
But did they know it was a kidnapping at this point, or is
I believe they
just considered missing?
He's considered missing, but due to him being such a high-profile individual, I'm presuming that they're like, okay, this is obviously a kidnapping.
Okay.
Similar cars with agents were sent to Ade's home near Morrison to question Mary and relieve the already stationed county deputies from the day prior who were conducting surveillance in and outside of the home. They had been watching for any kidnappers who may have been stalking out the ranch to drop off a ransom note or possibly strike again. Since county investigators had completed their collection of evidence at the bridge the day before the FBI's arrival, there were people still kind of searching in the area for aid, and there were tables set up near the bridge with hot pots of coffee, donuts, sandwiches, and water for those individuals volunteering their time. There was very little for the FBI to do on the bridge at that ground level. However, a H-19 helicopter was sent from Lowry Air Force Base outside of Denver to scout aid from the air, and U.S. Air Force C-45s and C-47 planes were on standby. Unfortunately, though, despite all of this manpower given by local residents, friends, and law enforcement, they were unable to find anything. With these other tactics in place and occurring, other FBI agents accompanied the county investigators and began visiting houses in Turkey Creek Canyon, interviewing residences for any information they could find. Now, I'm going to read a statement from one Miss Rosemary Stitt and a FBI agent. This was retrieved from the Long Reads article, which was indeed a long fucking read. Which will be available in our reference section for this case if you wish to also go through a long read.
I don't have anything to do. Let me on it.
So, it was about 8 o'clock, Miss Rosemary Stitt said, right after I sent my kids off to school, about 20 minutes after. The bus picked them up around 20 till that morning. First, it sounded like somebody was hollering down at the bridge. I can hear people talking down there, pretty plain most times. Hear their cars crossing over. I live only about a quarter of a mile away. But yesterday, the wind was blowing really hard, so I couldn't hear it so plain. I was sitting in front of my sewing machine by the window. It sounded like 1 or 2 words is all. It was 2 different people, I think. Then I heard a crackling noise, like lightning striking a tree. As a little girl, I heard lightning split a tree in half right next to the house. That's what it sounded like. I looked out the kitchen window to see if a tree fell down out back, but didn't see nothing. So, it was then I got to thinking, it might have been a gunshot. Just 1 shot. Or it could have been 2, really close together. What type of shot was it? Pistol, rifle, shotgun, any idea of the caliber? The agent asked Miss Stitt. I talked to Bill about it last night. He's my husband. And he asked if it sounded like a .22 that him and my son shoot rabbits with, or like a .38 they shoot every once in a while at targets they set up in the hills. I said it sounded more like a .38 because it sounded like lightning. The shot came about a minute or 2 after I heard the hollering. I thought it might be the poachers shooting game on the preserve. We've had some trouble with hunters up here. Or maybe some surveyors I'd seen working. I didn't hear nothing else, so I went back to doing housework. Later in the morning, though about 10:30, 11 o'clock, I heard some more hollering and a horn honking. About 15-20 minutes after that, the milkman showed up and told me that a car was blocking the bridge down yonder. He asked to use the telephone, but we ain't got one, so He left and said he'd telephone the police at his next stop. Was that better?
Yes, thank God. Although I'm sitting here going, what does this G-man really figure? This poor woman knows the difference between a sound coming from a pistol, a sound from a rifle, and I can guarantee you she knows the difference between those two and a shotgun. But still, I mean, come on. That's asking a lot. Most people don't give a shit.
It was a gunshot. Well, what do you think it was? I don't know. It was a gunshot.
A really fucking loud one. What else, man? Granted, I can tell the difference between like a 22 and a 50 cal. Mm-hmm. That's huge. But
and 22, like, it's just a.
Well,
done.
Yeah, out of your rifle, it is. I swear to God, that thing's
my Israel Keys rifle. For those that you don't know, I do have a 10-22 rifle.
Yeah, so she was shooting it the other day, and it was just like pop. And I'm like, damn, you running subsonics? You really were, but you didn't know that. So, yeah. Anyways, it was really quiet.
So the FBI interviewed another individual about 2.5 miles away from the Turkey Creek Bridge, a Miss Pauline Moore, who told a very similar story to that of Miss Rosemary Stint. She mentioned how she'd usually work on Tuesdays for cleaning houses in Denver, but her boss called the previous night to tell her not to come in, giving her the morning to herself. She had been hanging laundry out on the clothesline out back around 8 a.m. the previous day, February 9th, and heard a shot in the canyon real clear. It sounded far off and as if it was coming from the bridge. Now, hours of interviews have passed at this point, and the FBI learned that no one in the surrounding area had actually seen Ade or his abductors on the bridge. This left investigators with no idea how many kidnappers there were or could be. The possibility of a struggle or a shooting was to be questioned, and no one saw the abductor's car leave the scene. And with the report of Ade's disappearance now in the media spotlight, it led several people to reporting seeing suspicious vehicles at or near the bridge days before the disappearance. Now, like many reports that we'll go into, there's typically an issue with verifying cars and the lack of validity to claims, as some people will just say something to get their name in the 15 minutes spotlight. Mm-hmm. Now, while this did happen, one car began to become reported more frequently in the area. A report came in from a Jeanette Erickson who lived less than 1.5 miles from the bridge that she'd seen a yellow car near the bridge that Sunday, to which two other people, a Viola Ranch and a Charlotte Carter, came forward and stated that they'd seen the same car. Other witnesses said they'd seen a car resembling that of a 1951 Mercury in the vicinity, and 3 of which said it was yellow and 1 said that it was cream color. 2 people said that it was a solid color and had a black top roof, while Viola Ranch stated it had a green cloth top. Another individual, Miss Nadine Carter, reported seeing a yellow car parked near the bridge for 3 consecutive days in a row on her way to work before the disappearance took place. Another report from local Jim Macy said he often saw a yellow Mercury near the bridge, and he said that it was around there from like 5:30 p.m. on Sunday with a man standing beside it wearing a brown hat and glasses. His wife stated she'd seen the car again around 1 p.m. on Monday, a mere 19 hours prior to Ade's disappearance. Following this, former Morrison County Constable James Cable and his wife, Margaret, saw a 1951 or 52 Mercury near the bridge several times, including at 8 a.m. the morning of Monday, February 8th of 1960. To which, if you remember, would have been around the same time that Ade would have been taking his morning route to work. James also saw something else nobody else had. When interviewed, he gave the FBI the license plate number of the vehicle.
Yay, James! A+ for paying attention.
Now, with there being differences in claims regarding this vehicle, all witnesses did agree on one thing. No one had seen this car since Ade's disappearance. So, this same day, agents were investigating and doing interviews. A ransom letter comes in and it's intercepted at the post office at 9:40 a.m. that Wednesday morning. It was dusted for prints and copies were made. This piece of evidence was treated with triketohydrazine hydrate and silver nitrate. And I'm so sorry if I butchered the big one.
I want to hear you say that 5 times fast.
Triketohydrazine.
Ain't happening.
It's not happening. But anyway, it is basically just a very scientific, fancy way of saying ninhydrin and a physical developer technique to recover any possible prints that might be on the letter. So we're going to go back and we're going to talk about ninhydrin a little bit just because I don't think we've talked about it. So ninhydrin is a chemical...
You don't do the story times with Katie or the
vocab lessons with Katie.
You can't do that anymore. You're not allowed because you can't pronounce shit correctly. You could do chemical stuff with Katie.
Yeah, I guess I could, kind of.
Yeah, you could do
your forensic
chemical
mini
day
lesson.
With Katie. There you go.
So, ninhydrin is a chemical reagent used to develop latent prints on porous materials by reacting with the amino acids found in precipitation. Generally, prints will begin with to appear within an hour or two, and they'll be a bluish purple color, which is absolutely gorgeous. However, some factors may vary the time frame and results, as I've experienced in one of my forensic classes where the reagent we were using of ninhydrin was actually expired, and it caused the prints to not show up when there were obvious prints on the pieces of paper that we were testing. Now, a physical developer can be used in addition to this to basically bring out more of the print. So this is a third type of chemical mixture that's used for visualizing latent prints on porous surfaces. This is typically a silver nitrate-based reagent and can be used when ninhydrin fails to develop. This is also a very effective method for developing prints when the substrate may have been previously wet.
Ah, interesting.
Yes.
Little things I learned.
Yes. I believe you asked me a question when we recorded this last time, because this is our second time through, because the weather got me.
Yeah. Weather or Starlink just went, peace, bitches, I'm out. I was asking about when they say they dust for prints, and you said it was a silica-based or something like that they use. And that's
I think I said it was like a mica-based powder. But
mica-based, yep, my bad.
Yeah, it does basically the same thing. It clings to the lipids or fats or aminos that you leave behind when you leave a print. That's also dependent on factors of the environment of, is the print a clear one, or is there rain coming through and washing that print away? Usually when we dust for prints, it's going to be on a non-porous surface, so like cans, tabletops, coffee mugs, those types of things.
Right. Okay.
I mean, you could try to dust on a porous surface. I don't promise anything's going to come up.
I was going to say, wouldn't it just kind of fill up the potholes, basically?
Kind of. Personally, I like doing super glue fuming or cyanoacrylate fuming because it gets the print clear every single fucking time. And basically what you do with that is that you just lock the item that you think has prints on it in a super glue fuming container, so like a box, or some agencies actually have designated super glue fuming containers to put things in, and it will actually pull and develop the print. So, I mean, you can even do this at home if you've got kids and you want to show them some really cool science, get an old or go to the dollar store and get a water bottle, get a little thing of tinfoil, fill that with super glue, put that in the bottle, and then run their print across the back of a spoon, drop it in there, and leave it for like about 30 minutes, and that print will develop.
Oh, cool. Science time with Katie.
Science time with Katie. And then from there, you can actually dust and lift the print if you want, if you have that mica powder.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting.
Or fingerprint powder, I should say, because I'm not entirely sure if it's mica powder or not right now. That's just off the top of my head.
There's your goal. You got to go look, got to go find, got to correct yourself if you're wrong.
Corrections corner. So when they did this process with the letter, unfortunately, no latent impressions were found to be of value. That means that there might have been some on the letter. However, that might not be a full print, or they might be smudged. There might be something else going on that doesn't allow you to see that detail that is actually valuable to do comparative work to see if this is going to match somebody.
Okay.
So a typist was brought in and determined that this individual was basically experienced and made no errors in punctuation, spelling, double spaces were added after each period, which at this time was taught in typing schools. But the individual did overuse colons and only added one space after a colon rather than two, which is the approved practice typing method at the time.
Yeah, us old farts know that if we had to take typing class. Anywho, it's true.
It's very true. I remember having to do the double space a little bit, but it wasn't as big during my time. We were moving into the single space after each period.
Single space, yeah. I was going to say, because that jacked me up the first time I got an actual keyboard on its cell phone, and I tried to do two, and it was like, nope, that's not how it works. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. This is something I learned all my life.
Well, imagine being taught one year that you have to double space after each period, and then the following year they're like, only one space. I'm like, what do you mean?
Why are you yelling at me?
Yelling at me?
I'm just a child.
I can't even remember what the typing program was. I know that Markiplier just played it not too long ago, and I literally went, "Oh, I'm old," because they don't use it anymore. And it's a game on Steam. I'm like, are you fucking shitting me now? Jesus Christ.
Oh, God. We just had where you had to sit there and dictate or read a book and type it at the same time. It was with the old manual, click, 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 click. And then we got fancy and got the IBMs with the spinny heads. And, we thought we were something then. So,
oh, God.
Yeah, I'm old, so bite me.
I was going to say, I'm like, the only time I've seen a typewriter is in my video games when I'm panicking and saving so fucking Nemesis doesn't end my ass.
God. That is sad. Okay. It's true. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this allowed individuals to determine that the author of the ransom note was reasonably educated. Mary received this letter and read it to agents in her home at some point during the day, I presume the afternoon, as it takes a while to process prints and go through and make sure things are kind of lining up how they think they are. And I'm presuming that she got a copy of the letter and not the original letter.
Okay, is this the same day as the kidnapping or a day later? I'm
is
sorry, it's been 24 hours. I can't remember.
I think this is a day later, maybe 48 hours later. And yes, it's been a full day. I don't fully remember. Our listeners will know, though, because you got the first half.
You just said that. And I'm like, sorry, dude. We recorded this last night. Alcohol might have been involved.
Anyway, so the note read as, Salem!
I know you can't see me. Jesus, I just came out of my chair. Oh, my heart. Oh,
I'm sorry. She hopped up and I was like, I'm not dealing with this, because she immediately, the mouth was open. She's like, wire. I'm like, no.
Let me taste. I know Thacky was rubbing on mine last night, and I'm like, don't you even fucking think about it. I will end you. Oh, Lord. Okay, my heartbeat's coming back down again.
Now that I've got your attention.
And then some. He seriously didn't see me. I just... Okay.
So
Alrighty.
the note read as, Miss Coors, your husband has been kidnapped. His car is by Turkey Creek. Call the police or the FBI. He dies. Cooperate. He lives. Ransom is 200,000 in tens and 300,000 in 20s. There will be no negotiation. Bills are to be used, non-consecutive, unrecorded, and unmarked. Warning: we will know if you call the police or record the serial numbers. Directions: place money and this letter and envelope in one suitcase or bag. Have 2 men with a car ready to make the delivery. When all set, advertise a tractor for sale in the Denver Post Section 69. Sign Ad King Ranch, Fort Lupton. Wait at NA 9-445 for instructions after ad appears. Deliver immediately after receiving call. Any delay will be regarded as a stall to set up a stakeout. Understand this: Adolph's life is in your hands. We have no desire to commit murder. All we want is that money. If you follow the instructions, he will be released unharmed within 48 hours after the money is received.
Now, my thought on that is like, if your husband goes missing, I can understand not, especially in that day and time, you didn't really call and talk to your husband while you were at work. But if he's not home at the traditional time that he usually comes walking in the door, you start to get a little worried and you start making a few phone calls, and the next thing you know, you're talking to the police. And then the flippin' ransom note didn't come for at least 24 to 48 hours. She's already called the cops. How is she supposed to know she wasn't going to be able to call the cops? Right
Exactly.
there, it just set it up for failure, which is just beyond. And then we get back to the weight and size. That suitcase had to be humongous to have $200,000 in tens and 320s.
Yeah. No, I'm like, what suitcase do you have? Because I would like to know what that is for when I go up to Salem, okay? Because I plan on bringing rocks back.
I was going to say, it's like that trunk that we used to use for a coffee table in Nana's front room.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Seriously, you think about it, Jiminy Christmas, that is a lot of bills. And then non-sequential order and blah, blah. It doesn't give her a whole lot of time to get this shit taken care of. So I think she was set up for failure automatically.
Yeah, I think so, too. Now, Mary got the money, bought the ad, and 2 agents recorded the serial numbers and were prepared to make the delivery, but they never heard from the kidnapper. Within days, the investigation began to focus more on the man who drove the yellow 1951 Mercury seen in the area. 8 days after Coors was kidnapped, the car was found on fire in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Quite the frickin' road trip.
The gasoline-fueled fire had been deliberately set, but it couldn't destroy the serial number imprinted on the car's engine. This car was traced back to a Joseph Corbett Jr. Officials zoned in on Corbett, a convicted murderer who had walked away from a minimum security prison located in California 4.5 years earlier. At the time, he had been using the alias Walter Osborne and living around Capitol Hill for 4 years before the attack on Aid. The FBI obtained a fugitive warrant for Corbett Jr. and placed him on the top 10 most wanted fugitives list. In September of 1960, some hikers in the Rocky Mountains came across pants and a pocket knife bearing the Coors initials, which prompted investigators to search the area for any other signs of Aid. In the days following, a shirt and skull were found, followed by the remains of a skeleton that belonged to Adolph Coors. Unfortunately, at the time Ade had been discovered and returned to his loved ones, Corbett Jr. had still not been apprehended. The case did remain a significant interest to the public eye and media, however, and ultimately, a magazine reader in Canada was one of the ones who broke the case wide open when an individual reported a man resembling Corbett Jr. to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and FBI. A man fitting Corbett Jr.'s description had been seen in the Vancouver area driving a fire red Pontiac. And on October 29th of 1960, a Vancouver police officer reported a similar vehicle parked outside a local inn, and with the FBI's help, they approached the door to the hotel room, knocking on the door to have Corbett Jr. answer, stating, "I give up. I'm the man that you want." Corbett Jr.,
easy.
right? I'm like, wow, you just completely folded like an omelet. Okay.
I was going to say, like, what? Okay.
Corbett Jr. was arrested and returned to Colorado, where he was tried by the state for the murder of Adolph Coors III. Now, he wasn't charged with federal kidnapping, since Coors' remains were still found within the state of Colorado. For it to be a federal kidnapping, the remains would have to be in another state, indicating that the person was transported across state lines. Now, let's go back to that crisp, windy morning of Tuesday, February 9th of 1960. As Ade drove along the detoured road that morning, his travel all rambled through the canyon, reaching the last bend before reaching the Turkey Creek Bridge. Awaiting at the bridge was 31-year-old Corbett Jr., who at this point had been stalking Ade for months, awaiting his chance to carry out his scheme. So, Corbett had backed his canary yellow Mercury sedan onto the one-lane bridge just minutes before Ade's arrival. A pair of handcuffs and leg irons that he'd obtained prior sitting in his back seat. A ransom note in an envelope ready to mail later that day, possibly in the glove compartment, and a concealed pistol in his coat pocket. He had exited the four-door car, leaving the driver's door open and opening the rear door before raising the hood and signaling for engine trouble. Corbett Jr. stood by the car, waiting for his victim. All he had to do was lure Ade in. And by the end of the week, he would be a rich man. It was 8 a.m. when, just as planned, Ade pulled up, and in his nice and caring nature, rolled down the window and asked if Corbett needed help. Corbett shouted back a rehearsed reply. As Ade stepped out of the travel-all, shutting the door behind him. He left the engine running as he didn't expect to be gone for long. Figuring he'd help push the stranded car out of the way and give the driver a ride to a nearby station to phone for help. As Ade approached, Corbett stepped forward and drew his pistol, taking Ade by surprise. Ade was an intelligent but stubborn man and fought back against his attacker. The two wrestled, with Ade slamming Corbett into the crude bridge railing, as both Ade's baseball cap and Corbett's fedora fell into the creek. Ade's glasses soon joined the two hats, cracking the left lens upon impact. Giving one last shove, Ade made a break for the travel-all as Corbett saw his opportunity for ransom money escaping. He pointed the pistol and fired. On March 19th of 1961, Corbett Jr. was convicted of the murder and sentenced to life in prison. However, was released December 12th of 1980 after serving less than 19 years for Ade's murder. On August 24th, 2009, manager Mark Johnson at the Royal Chateau Apartments, where Corbett Jr. lived for more than 25 years, turned the knob and pushed open the green trim door on Unit 307. He was there to check on Corbett Jr., and in the bedroom, he found a shocking scene of a man laying in his bed, a single gunshot wound to his head. Corbett Jr. did note in the years prior to his suicide that he was haunted by the whispers of people who recognized him for the crime, saying, "There goes the man that killed Adolph Coors III."
Kind of understand that, though, because that was a prominent name in the Colorado area.
Oh, absolutely. And when you have such a predominant family that's known for being kind and very down to earth and like wanting to help their community in Golden, like,
well, yeah, and Golden's a small town comparatively too. So, yeah.
It's like, how would you not know that's the person that did it?
Well, and especially if they have a name, they've got a bolo out for him, so they've got his picture around. Have you ever looked at his picture?
I think I have, but it's been a while.
I was gonna say, I just sent it to you. He looks shockingly like Ted Bundy, but that's just me.
Ugh, he really kind of does.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna go look and see what these two look like, and I was like, oh, he kind of looks like Ted Bundy.
Yeah, no, that's an uncanny resemblance, and I don't care for it.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you for that. To be fair, though, I don't understand how people are like, oh, Ted Bundy, he's so attractive, like, bleh, to begin with. But second off, he looks like the goddamn seal from Finding Dory. Took you a while to realize who I'm talking about, Becky.
Oh, yeah, I had to go back. Becky. Yeah.
I think
Becky wasn't the seal.
Becky's
Becky
the bird,
was the
isn't
seagull.
she?
She was the seagull, yeah.
I can't remember who the seal was, but no, I'm like, Bundy literally looks like the seal from Finding Dory.
There you go. Oh, Lord. And we're off.
And we're off. You'll never unsee it again.
Nope, never will. In fact, now I kind of want to go watch that movie. Anyways, here's my theory. Okay, so it sounded like it was 24 hours before the FBI was involved.
Around 24 hours. They came in later that evening afterwards.
Right. But the ransom note didn't come in until at least a day later, if not longer.
The next day, the following day.
Okay. My thought is he never planned on sending... Well, he was going to send the ransom note, but because he fucked up and shot Adolph Coors III when he was trying to escape... And I'm going to go with probably a gut shot wound that he bled out and died. I think at that point he decided I better go ditch the body someplace and I'll send the ransom note just to tide me over some time to get the fuck out of here before people start looking for me. And that gave him time to go all the way to Atlantic City and then burned this vehicle because I'm guessing there was probably blood in his vehicle.
Yeah, most likely.
He had to move the body. Yeah,
he had to move the body.
Because he had to move the body. So, anyways, that is my theory on what happened. Because, quite frankly, that ransom note taking that long to get there, he knows damn good and well the police were probably called. Mm-hmm. So, I think he just did it to kind of cover his tracks so that he had time to get the fuck out of the area.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Knowing full well he will never collect because he already killed him.
Exactly.
Albeit accidentally, purposefully, we don't know. So, yeah.
Well, it's kind of purposeful when you actually go, oh my god, my chance of becoming rich is going away. You already had this premeditated plan to kidnap this person, and you're willing to hurt them to get what you want anyway. It wasn't an accident. You had premeditation.
I think it was more of an anger that the opportunity was after he had literally worked at this because evidently he had been plotting and planning this for a while. Mm-hmm. and then had it all executed. It was going as planned, and then Adolph fought more than he thought he was going to, and then not only fought, but successfully got away from the dude. I think there was anger in it, and he shot him, and then it was like, oh, Jesus God, what did I just do?
Yeah.
I'll never get the money. And they'll send me back to jail, and I'll rot there.
Which, I mean, he did go back to jail, but he did not rot there, as he should have.
No, he didn't. He should have, yes. A lot of them should have. But, yeah, unfortunately. And I keep going, yay, you know, maybe there is something about not only people pointing it out that are living, but maybe there was some haunting shit going on, too, and he was just, like, haunted by the ghosts of shit he did, so. But that was just my theory on it.
It's a good theory, and you're probably right on the money, because... I mean, if you were already planning on taking somebody kidnapping for ransom, it's kind of like, okay, well, I already have this stuff set up and ready to go. It might distract attention long enough for me to get the fuck out of Dodge. Which
all I had to do is go hide the body and get the hell out of here. Yep. Oh, sad, sad. Okay. Well, there you go. That's my 2 cents if it's what it's worth.
Thank you again for listening to Spattered. Please make sure to follow the show on Facebook and Instagram at Spattered Podcast and on X at Spattered Pod. If you're enjoying the show, make sure to follow and leave a 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts from. If you're watching on YouTube, like this video, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to be notified when the show goes live or drops a video. As always, if you have a case request, any questions, or are interested in sponsoring the show, please email me at spatteredpodcast@gmail.com. Spattered is a true crime podcast hosted by Caitlin Gardner and Sarah Ray. The research and edits for this episode were done by Caitlin Gardner. All the music for the show was done by Lucio Cardenas. We'll see you next time. Stay safe out there. And remember, the truth is always in the blood.